Little House on the Prairie remains one of television's most treasured family dramas, remembered for its emotional storytelling and unforgettable characters. Inspired by the novels written by Laura Ingalls Wilder, the series transported audiences into the hardships and joys of pioneer life. Across 9 successful seasons and more than 200 episodes, viewers followed the Ingalls family as they battled poverty, illness, natural disasters, and personal heartbreak while holding tightly to faith and family values. The program became famous for tackling serious subjects rarely explored in family television at the time, including racism, alcoholism, blindness, adoption, and abuse. Yet behind the warmth of Walnut Grove existed a production filled with hidden bloopers, behind-the-scenes struggles, and fascinating secrets that many viewers never noticed. Some continuity mistakes quietly slipped into final episodes, while others involved props, costumes, or background details overlooked during editing. Fans revisiting the series today often pause scenes and discover surprising errors hidden in plain sight. These discoveries have only deepened the show's legacy, proving that even the most beloved television classics carry unexpected mysteries waiting to be uncovered by attentive viewers decades later. Michael Landon's complex reality. Beyond Charles Ingalls, Michael Landon became inseparable from the image of Charles Ingalls, the hardworking father whose kindness and wisdom guided the Ingalls family through endless frontier hardships. On screen, Charles represented morality, honesty, and discipline. He refused alcohol and frequently encouraged Isaiah Edwards to stop drinking. Off-screen, however, Landon lived a far different reality. Reports from cast members and interviews later revealed that he drank heavily and smoked constantly throughout production. Melissa Gilbert often recalled watching him casually light cigarettes between takes while still dressed in costume. Another hidden detail involved Landon's appearance. Although viewers admired his thick chestnut hair, the actor had actually gone gray in his 20s and needed frequent dye treatments during filming. The blazing California sun often faded the color unexpectedly, creating continuity issues that complicated production schedules. Despite these personal habits and physical challenges, Landon worked tirelessly behind the scenes. He was not only the lead actor but also a producer, writer, and director responsible for shaping the emotional tone of the entire series. His ability to juggle so many responsibilities helped transform Little House on the Prairie into one of television's most enduring and emotionally powerful dramas. Real family bonds hidden within the cast of Walnut Grove. One of the most fascinating aspects of Little House on the Prairie was the number of genuine family relationships hidden among the cast members. Melissa Gilbert, beloved for her portrayal of Laura Ingalls, was adopted shortly after birth by actor Paul Gilbert and actress Barbara Crane. Her co-star Jonathan Gilbert, who played Willie Oleson, was later adopted into the same family, making the two actors real-life siblings. Their natural connection occasionally appeared during emotional scenes in later seasons, especially after Willie matured into a more compassionate character. Barbara Crane later remarried and had another daughter, actress Sarah Gilbert, who eventually became famous through Roseanne and The Big Bang Theory. Another sibling pair appeared through Matthew and Patrick Labourteau. Matthew portrayed Albert Ingalls while Patrick played Andy Garvey. Like Melissa and Jonathan, the two brothers were adopted and raised together while overcoming difficult childhood health conditions. These hidden family ties created an atmosphere of closeness among the cast that often translated naturally onto the screen. Audiences sensed genuine warmth between characters without realizing many performers shared authentic sibling relationships away from the cameras. Difficult conditions, behind the beautiful prairie landscape. While Walnut Grove appeared peaceful and idyllic on television, filming at Big Sky Ranch was often physically exhausting for the cast and crew. Temperatures regularly soared into triple digits beneath the harsh California sun, especially during summer filming. Actors wore historically accurate costumes made from heavy materials, including wool dresses, petticoats, boots, and layered clothing that trapped heat throughout long shooting days. Many cast members nearly fainted from exhaustion, and some reportedly collapsed during production. The younger actors struggled particularly hard because they spent countless hours outdoors in uncomfortable conditions while still needing to appear cheerful and energetic on camera. Ellison Arngrim, who portrayed Nellie Oleson, endured especially difficult circumstances. Her famous golden curls initially required painful styling using extremely hot curling irons, before producers eventually switched to a wig. Unfortunately, the wig itself created new problems, because it had to be secured with long metal pins that frequently pierced her scalp and caused bleeding. Even dangerous stunt scenes became more intense than expected. During Nellie's famous wheelchair sequence, safety equipment malfunctioned before filming, making Arngrim's terrified screams and frantic reactions frighteningly real as she rolled downhill in an unstable antique wheelchair. Personal struggles and addiction behind the cameras. Despite the wholesome values portrayed on screen, several cast members privately battled serious personal struggles during the years spent filming Little House on the Prairie. Karen Grassel, who portrayed the loving Caroline Ingalls, later spoke openly about her struggles with alcoholism. She also revealed that Michael Landon and Victor French faced similar issues during the production years. French portrayed Isaiah Edwards, a character whose alcoholism became an important storyline within the series itself. The overlap between his real-life challenges and fictional role surprised many longtime fans. Grassel later explained that Landon believed alcohol contributed significantly to French's declining health before his death from cancer. Unlike some of her colleagues, Grassel successfully overcame her addiction by the late 1970s. Beyond substance struggles, tensions also existed regarding contracts and salaries. Grassel later stated that she hoped to renegotiate her pay while the series ranked among television's most successful programs, but Landon reportedly refused. Although disagreements and emotional strain existed behind the scenes, the cast consistently delivered heartfelt performances on screen. Their professionalism allowed audiences to experience warmth and emotional sincerity without realizing how much pressure, exhaustion, and personal difficulty many actors quietly endured throughout the show's production. Melissa Gilbert's emotional journey, from child star to adult actress, growing up in front of millions of viewers proved emotionally complicated for Melissa Gilbert. Audiences watched Laura Ingalls mature from an adventurous little girl into a married woman, but Gilbert herself was still extremely young while filming those major storylines. When Laura married Almanzo Wilder in the series, Gilbert was only 15 years old. Her co-star Dean Butler, who portrayed Almanzo, was significantly older, which made romantic scenes uncomfortable for the teenage actress. Gilbert later admitted she had very little real-life experience with dating or kissing before filming intimate scenes. In fact, one of her earliest kisses occurred directly on the set. Butler tried to ease her nervousness by softly singing songs before filming romantic moments, hoping humor would calm her anxiety. Instead, Gilbert became more embarrassed and later asked Michael Landon to reduce romantic scenes between Laura and Almanzo to simple embraces and brief kisses. At the same time, Gilbert experienced emotional disappointment after Landon divorced his longtime wife Lynn and married makeup artist Cindy Clerico. Gilbert had grown very close to the Landon family and found the separation painful. Though she continued behaving professionally at work, her personal relationship with Landon reportedly became far more distant afterward. The strong connection between Bonanza and Little House. Before achieving success with Little House on the Prairie, Michael Landon had already become famous through Bonanza. Sharp-eyed viewers later noticed that several plots, themes, and musical elements from Bonanza quietly reappeared within Little House. Some episodes were directly adapted from earlier scripts, with only slight changes to titles and characters. One Bonanza episode called He Was Only 7 eventually became, quote, He Was Only 12, after being rewritten for the Prairie series. Landon's decision to recycle material reflected both practicality and creative efficiency. Since he simultaneously handled acting, writing, directing, and producing responsibilities, reworking successful storylines saved valuable time during demanding production schedules. Several actors also appeared in both series, further strengthening the connection between the two Western dramas. Mitch Vogel became one notable example after appearing in Bonanza before later joining Little House. Years afterward, actor Jason Bateman reflected fondly on his experience working with Landon during his first television role. Bateman described Landon as charismatic, confident, and deeply admired by both the cast and crew, comparing his popularity to that of a modern Hollywood superstar. Beloved supporting characters and their remarkable actors. Although the Ingalls family remained central to the series, many supporting actors helped turn Little House on the Prairie into a truly unforgettable television experience. Richard Bull became beloved for portraying Nels Oleson, the patient shopkeeper constantly overwhelmed by his dramatic wife Harriet and troublesome daughter Nellie. Before joining the series, Bull enjoyed a long acting career spanning theater, television, and film. His studies at the Goodman Theater School were interrupted by World War II, during which he served in the Army Air Corps as a radio operator. After returning home, he resumed acting and eventually spent decades performing on stage and screen. Meanwhile, Catherine McGregor delivered unforgettable comedic performances as Harriet Oleson. Her exaggerated reactions and sharp insults made Harriet one of television's most entertaining antagonists. Ellison Arngrim's performance as Nellie Oleson also became iconic because audiences loved watching her manipulative schemes and dramatic outbursts. Off-screen, many actors differed greatly from their characters. Some were shy and thoughtful despite portraying loud personalities on screen. Together, the cast created believable emotional chemistry that continues attracting viewers decades after the series originally aired on television. Michael Landon's faith, identity, and creative vision. Faith and morality formed the emotional foundation of Little House on the Prairie, largely because Michael Landon believed strongly in storytelling that explored compassion, forgiveness, and personal responsibility. Many episodes focused on moral dilemmas, family loyalty, and spiritual reflection. Although audiences associated Landon with traditional Christian values because of his role as Charles Ingalls, his own background was more diverse. Born Eugene Maurice Orowitz, Landon had a Jewish father and Catholic mother. Before entering Hollywood, he decided to adopt the stage name Michael Landon because he believed it sounded stronger and more memorable for television audiences. Some fans later speculated that his Jewish heritage influenced the introduction of Jewish characters in later seasons of the show. Landon also shaped the careers of fellow cast members through his instincts regarding image and presentation. Karen Grassel originally auditioned using the stage name Gabriel Tree, but Landon encouraged her to use her real surname because he felt audiences would trust her more naturally. His understanding of television storytelling and audience connection proved remarkably effective. Even while carrying enormous production responsibilities, Landon maintained a clear creative vision that helped define the emotional sincerity audiences still admire in the series today. The explosive finale and the lasting legacy of Walnut Grove. By the early 1980s, changing television trends and declining ratings signaled that Little House on the Prairie was nearing its conclusion. Michael Landon believed the story had naturally reached its endpoint because Laura Ingalls had matured into adulthood and no longer relied on her father for guidance in the same way. Rather than quietly ending the series, Landon decided to close the story with one of television's most dramatic finales. In the last farewell, the citizens of Walnut Grove destroy their own town to prevent a greedy developer from taking control of it. The emotional explosions shocked audiences and created one of the most memorable endings in television history. Behind the scenes, the destruction also solved a practical problem because NBC was contractually required to restore the filming location to its original condition after production ended. Instead of carefully dismantling each building, Landon proposed incorporating the destruction directly into the script. The idea created a visually unforgettable finale while simplifying cleanup operations afterward. Although Walnut Grove disappeared on screen, the spirit of Little House on the Prairie never faded. Decades later, audiences still cherish its heartfelt storytelling, emotional lessons, unforgettable performances, hidden bloopers, and fascinating behind-the-scenes stories that continue keeping the beloved Prairie world alive for new generations of viewers.